What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Lions video. Now, yesterday we talked a lot about the Detroit Lions offseason thus far, the trades and the signings that they have made, as well as briefly touching on some of the guys that will not be returning and some of the starters and the talent that will be leaving this Detroit Lions football team just because they are members of free agency and decided to go elsewhere and take their talents to another football team. Now, in today's video, I wanted to touch on those players. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the ex-Detroit Lions that played here a season ago and either decided not to re-sign with the Detroit Lions decided not to bring back to the team, or players that just decided their careers would benefit if they were to go elsewhere. Now, in today's video, I will be talking about each and every Detroit Lion that has been signed elsewhere, every single Detroit Lion that has gotten a contract with a different NFL team, and what this means, one, for the player and what this means for the Lions moving forward, because although they are not on the team anymore, they can still be beneficial to the Lions. Now, before we get into this video and before we get into talking about these 8 ex-Lions that have found a new home in the NFL, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and you would be helping the channel out more than you could know. So if you could take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into these 8 ex-Detroit Lions and where they are now in the NFL after they signed with a new franchise. Now, as I said in the beginning, there are 8 former Detroit Lions, 8 players that played last year for our Lions squad that have found a new home in the NFL with new NFL franchises. Now, the first player that was signed away from the Lions happened a few weeks ago as former Detroit Lions wide receiver and former All-Pro punt returner Jamal Agnew got a 3-year, $14.25 million contract to go to Jacksonville, reuniting with his former offensive coordinator in Darrell Bevell, and obviously getting a very sizable contract to go down to Jacksonville and be their top punt and kick returner, as well as having the ability to contribute on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Jamal Agnew was the 5th round selection by the Detroit Lions in the 2017 NFL class. He did not accomplish much on the offense or defensive side of the ball. However, as I mentioned previously, he was a former All-Pro kick returner. In his 4 years in Detroit, he totaled over 2,500 return yards and 5 return touchdowns. He was an All-Pro as a rookie. He was a very good player for the Detroit Lions. He was one of the consistent players on this team year in and year out. He was never really the flashiest guy, never a great receiver, never a great cornerback, played both for the Detroit Lions, but really showed his ability, really was able to show his skill as a kick and punt returner. That's where he found his niche in the NFL. That's where his All-Pro nod came from, and that is why he got his 3-year, $14.25 million with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the next player that got signed away from the Detroit Lions is one that I was very disappointed that was actually signed away, and was one player that I was really hoping the Lions would go after and get an extension with, and that was former first-round pick Jarrad Davis. Now, Jarrad Davis, very similarly to Jamal Agnew, was a member of that 2017 NFL class. He was the first-round pick and was the first selection in that class by our Detroit Lions. He signed a 1-year, $7 million contract to go to the Big Apple and join the New York Jets, who are actually putting together a relatively solid squad over there in New York that should be able to compete a season from now, especially with a very strong draft that they could very realistically put together. Jarrad Davis did sign with the New York Jets on a 1-year, $7 million contract. Now, the former first-round pick in his 4 seasons in Detroit totaled over 305 tackles for the Detroit Lions, 19 tackles for loss, 23 quarterback hits, 7 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 9 passes defended, and 1 interception. Now, Jarrad Davis, a lot of people were not happy with the selection, and a lot of people do not view Jarrad Davis as a very good pick and view him as a bust for our Detroit Lions. I do not see it that way. I don't think Jarrad Davis was ever really put in a situation to succeed. I don't think Jarrad Davis was ever really put in a good situation, was never really put in the correct role, and was never really utilized correctly in the Motor City, especially once Matt Patricia took over. Jarrad Davis spent his first year learning under Jim Caldwell and actually had a pretty solid rookie season. And then Matt Patricia came around and I think really stunted Jarrad Davis's development, really stunted his growth as a linebacker. And I believe Matt Patricia is the fault of why Jarrad Davis was not re-signed with the Detroit Lions. Matt Patricia is the biggest reason as to why Jarrad Davis has not fully developed into what he can be as a linebacker in the NFL. And unfortunately for the Detroit Lions and fortunately for the New York Jets, Jarrad Davis has gone to New York. Now, the third player that was signed away from the Detroit Lions and the second player and the second wide receiver that will be joining Jamal Agnew in Jacksonville is wide receiver Marvin Jones. Now, Marvin Jones has been a 5-year NFL veteran for the Detroit Lions and in this offseason signed a 2-year, $13.5 million contract once again to go and reunite with Darrell Bevell, go and reunite with Jamal Agnew, and go join that Jaguar squad that, again, very similarly to the Jets, is using their capital and is using their cap space to put together a pretty solid roster. As I mentioned earlier, Marvin Jones spent his past 5 seasons in the city of Detroit, totaling over 289 receptions, 4,296 yards, and 36 touchdowns for the Honolulu Blue. This is arguably one of Bob Quinn's best ever free agent signings. He was a consistent wide receiver for all 5 years, was never really the wide receiver one in any of those years, but several times stepped up in big moments, and especially the seasons Kenny Gallady did not play in, Marvin Jones had to step up into a bigger role, and every single time he was asked to do so, Marvin Jones improved his play, improved his statistics, played better on the field, was a bigger, more dangerous weapon than what teams were expecting, and all in all, Marvin Jones was one of the best, one of the most consistent players on the Lions over the past half a decade, and unfortunately enough for the Lions, he is no longer a member of the team. As I said, he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, reuniting with his former offensive coordinator for a 2-year, $13.5 million contract. Now, Matt Prater was the next Detroit Lions to get signed away. He went to the Arizona Cardinals on a 2-year contract. Now, Matt Prater actually spent 8 seasons in the Motor City. Matt Prater joined the Detroit Lions 8 seasons ago and played for the Detroit Lions for 8 full seasons. Now, Matt Prater is one of the greatest Lions of all time statistically. Again, played in 8 seasons, totaled over 758 points for the Detroit Lions organization, putting him 3rd all-time on that list, just ahead of the great Barry Sanders and just behind the great Jason Hanson. Now, Matt Prater, as I said, is one of the greatest Lions of all time statistically. Again, 3rd all-time in scoring for the Detroit Lions. He kicked multiple, countless game-winning field goals for the Lions, was a clutch kicker day in and day out. I mean, every single kick Matt Prater went to kick, you felt comfortable for the most part. There was not a kick that you felt he was incapable of making, and there was not a kick that you felt that, he should not be making. Matt Prater has the leg, has the accuracy, has the clutch factor, where if you need him to kick a game winner, he's going to kick that game winner. If you need him to kick a 60-yard field goal, he's going to hit that 60-yard field goal. And unfortunately for the Lions, they are missing out and they are losing out on one of the top kickers left in the NFL. He's one of the most experienced, he's one of the most veteran players in the NFL at this point, and again, he is one of the best kickers still available, even with a little bit of his inconsistencies a season ago. Now, the Detroit Lions also lost 2 more players to the city of New York, as both wide receiver Kenny Golladay and linebacker Reggie Ragland went to the New York Giants. Now, Reggie Ragland signed a 1-year contract with the New York Giants to go join there. He was only a 1-year player in the city of Detroit, was brought in last offseason by the Quinn Tricia regime. He totaled 52 tackles for the Lions a season ago with 4 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, a sack, and a forced fumble. He was a solid player for the Lions and a guy that I'm very happy was able to get another contract and move on from the Detroit Lions. I'm happy for him. I think he's going to have a better opportunity somewhere else, and I'm glad he was able to find a job elsewhere. And then, of course, the big name of the offseason for the Detroit Lions was wide receiver Kenny Gallady, who did go out and end up making his money, getting a 4-year, $72 million contract with the New York Giants. Now, Kenny Gallady was a 4-year player for the Detroit Lions and actually didn't end up playing in all 4 years. Actually ended up playing, I believe, just 36 games, so 3 full seasons worth of contests for Kenny Gallady in his first 4 NFL seasons. However, in those 4 years with the Lions, he did total 183 receptions for 3,068 yards and 21 receiving touchdowns. He was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He's one of the probably top 10 wide wide receivers when healthy in the NFL. He changes an NFL offense when he is the focal point, when he's on the field, and when he's playing at his best. Kenny Gallady is unstoppable. He makes contested catch after contested catch. He makes the most difficult catches. He bails quarterback out. He bails out quarterbacks better than almost any wide receiver in the NFL. And of course, now he will be going to play with Daniel Jones, who, to be totally honest, could use that just a little bit. Kenny Gallaudet left the Detroit Lions. He did not want to resign here. We offered him upwards of $18 to $19 million a season. He declined that and ended up going to the Giants for a 4-year, $72 million contract. Now, the Lions also lost out on two more players, two more depth pieces this offseason, as Ode Abushi, the backup guard, signed a 1-year, $1.75 million deal to go to the LA Chargers, as well as Miles Killebrew, our special teams ace, ended up signing a 1-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, those are all the Lions thus far that have been signed away. Those are the 8 Detroit Lions that have found new homes in the NFL and have found new opportunities to go out and play in the NFL. Some of them got big contracts. Some of them did not get big contracts. Obviously, Marvin Jones, our wide receiver core in general, Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, Jamal Agnew, all got very good, very pricey contracts, which should actually come back to help the Lions a lot in the future. If you were unaware, compensatory picks are a big part of the NFL draft. They're awarded every single year to NFL teams that have free agents go off and make a lot of money. Obviously, that happened a lot this year with the Lions. They had a very big free agent class that went out and earned a lot of money for themselves. As I said, Jamal Agnew signed for $14.25 million. Marvin Jones, $13.5 million. Kenny Golladay, $72 million. Jarrad Davis got $7 million over one season. Like, they got a lot of players that got signed to big deals, and that should award the Detroit Lions next season with a couple of big contracts and a couple of big compensatory picks for the 2022 class to throw on top of those 2 first-rounders, to throw on top of all the draft capital that they already have going into that season. They should be getting even more with compensatory picks. Now, these picks can be anywhere from the middle to late 3rd round all the way down to the 7th round. The Lions should be awarded a 3rd-round pick for the Kenny Gallaudet contract, and I would hope that they get at least 2 more later-round picks for the Marvin Jones and Jamal Agnew trade, or for the Marvin Jones and Jamal Agnew signings, if not another one for Jarrad Davis as well. Well, all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Again, I wanted to go over our ex-Lions. I wanted to go over our former Detroit Lions players, talk about their new homes, their new opportunities in the NFL, and how this could benefit the Detroit Lions in just a season from now. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. If you're new to the channel, if you have not been here before and you have not hit that like and subscribe button, please do so. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day. It's quick, free, and easy, and you would be helping the channel, and you'd be helping us hit that ultimate goal of 1,000 sooner rather than later. So if you could hit that subscribe button, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. If there's Lions news to come out, I will, of course, make a video letting every single person know. But until then, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so very much for watching the video, and until next time, go Lions.